radio. This one credit likely inadvertently inspired the main characters from Madagascar. I swear even the still picture of this zebra looks like it's voiced by Chris Rock. Also, look guys, I'm going to straight up tell you the book doesn't matter. If I sin the fact that Dumbo has incredible ninja skills in this movie, don't tell me that the book explains the time he trained with Ra's al Ghul in the cemetery scene. If we don't see such a scene in this, and Dumbo starts trunk Voldemort, and I sin that I don't want to hear it. This tightrope walking ballerina was so committed to her craft, she had her nose removed to perfect her balance. Now that's dedication.
Through the snow and sleet.
God, this movie is old as decoration. Synchronized family planning.
Don't try to get away, he'll find you in the end.
Holy Disney missed a huge opportunity to make a movie about a very determined stork who tries to force an adoption on a makeup artist from Sacramento who, try as they might, just can't seem to shake the stork no matter how many disguises they try or dumpsters they hilariously hide out in. But make no mistake, the stork will use any means necessary to force your parenthood. Miami was attacked today by a barrage of animal babies from the sky. It's the worst stork-inflicted massacre since 2016, when Storks was released. Also, I'm very aware that babies are delivered by storks, but unless the ones that deliver in Florida are different than here, they do not just parachute them willy-nilly over an area. Think of the lawsuits. Also, you mean the entire circus is getting hundreds of babies delivered today? This is the most amount of implied since Lady Gaga performed at the Oscars with Bradley Cooper. Why did the stork deliver these 5 tigers in the same package, when the bear got 2 separate packages for 2 baby bears? Are they sorted by the father? I'm just saying Papa Bear might want to ask some questions. I think I just heard April the giraffe yell "as if" all the way from Harpersville, New York. Tokyo subways.
Casey Jr.'s coming down the track.
Does the train need its own song? Jesus Christ, 1941. We're only 5 minutes into this thing, and we're already entering our second song's position. I don't mind if you musical me, movie, but at least lubricate me with some dialogue in between. I'm not saying cartoons and fantasy can't play loose with reality, but between this and Mary Poppins, I'm convinced that Disney is responsible for me thinking clouds were like marshmallow pillows up until a very embarrassing moment in 4th grade science.
Must be right around here somewhere.
You see, this is the fatal flaw of baby delivery via Sicaneae section. How can you coordinate this when you order babies from the catalog if you're always on the move? Also, why does this stork get to wear a postal uniform while the others we saw earlier were all regular-ass naked storks? Damn it, movie. Repeat after me. Florida does not border Mississippi. Florida does not border Mississippi. Florida is a horrible place to live. Sorry, I got distracted. What were we talking about? Why would this colorful, sparsely detailed map of the U.S. tell you where you can find a sign that tells you where you can get gas 4 miles away from the gas station?
Ah, that must be it.
That must be f***ing what? You mean you were looking for a train? So your directions were try to deliver this baby to the circus, but if you completely fail that task, try to find the train. Also, where the f*** is Tennessee? I know Alabama, Georgia, and Kentucky want to touch each other, but you gotta get through Tennessee before you start using the KY. This train to scale would be almost 100 miles long, and traveling through Florida at about 120,000 miles per hour. Casey Jr. is a f***ing beast.
Straight from heaven, up above, here is a baby for you to love. Sign here, please.
Why is Mrs. Jumbo getting this singing storkogram service with signature needed when the rest of the circus just got their litters delivered by airmail?
Isn't it thrilling? I'm all aflutter.
Ah, this is a proud, proud day.
You pack of hypocritical pachyderms. Now you're all proud, but mere seconds ago when asked who was expecting, you were all like,
Not me.
The very idea.
Certainly not. Over there.
"F***ing elephants, man." It takes 10 full minutes for this 1-hour movie to deliver Dumbo, the name of which you might recognize as the title character.
We work all day, we work all night, we never learn to read or write.
In a Disney early history filled with racism, this song might take the cake. A group of faceless black men singing about slaving until they were almost dead, but not worrying about when they get paid, because when they do, they just throw their pay away, and are totally fine because they are happy-hearted roustabouts. One of the lines is, and I'm quoting here, "Grab that rope, you hairy ape." Sometimes a simple "that's racist" just isn't enough. If you can get elephants to hammer in this manner, then you should be able to get all the other animals to do some work too. And oh yeah, call all the newspapers! They trained elephants how to hammer. Why the hell are Dumbo's mom's eyes red? Yeah, I see the symbolism, but she's been angry for quite some time, and her eyes were blue all the way until now. Also, Disney movies really hated moms back then, didn't they? This is just a prelude to Bambi.
Calm down!
P.T. Barnum. Dang, this kid's movie is legit rough. It's basically Life is Beautiful with elephants. This peanut is bigger than pretty much this entire mouse. Definitely bigger than this mouth's mouse. I mean mouse's mouth.
How do you like that? Giving him the cold shoulder.
Well, technically the cold elephant asses, but semantics.
Look, Dumbo, I'm your friend.
Then why are you calling him by the name the evil female elephants called him? Did that name really stick?
You know, lots of people with big ears are famous.
Name names, movie. Grow some balls and name names. Did we really need the Ringmaster Shadow striptease in this scene? Can we get the point without being forced to imagine his entire clown alley?
And now comes the climax!
In 1941, watches didn't have the number 6 on them. I think they were superstitious about it, like having a 13th floor at a hotel or something.
Your pyramid of elephants is standing in a ring, waiting for a climax. You are now getting that climax.
Did this mouse just give the ringmaster an orgasm? Because that's what I got out of this scene.
How's the reception? Coming through okay?
Character convinces another character to do something by whispering in their ear while they are sleeping cliché. And yeah, it's 1941, but just go with it.
Suddenly from the sidelines comes your climax. And who is your climax?
The word climax has been said more than the word the in the last 2 minutes. I checked. After the ringmaster says,
And now comes the climax.
here, climax has a 9-7 lead over f***ing the.
Dumbo.
I'm guessing the ringmaster understands these animals, that the animals speaking English so far could actually express themselves if they wanted. The proof is calling Dumbo by the nickname the mothers gave him. I'm beginning to think these animals in captivity is a much sadder story than this movie is letting on.
Pyramid of ponderous, pulsating, pulchritudinous pachyderms.
I'll allocate the always alarmingly anomalous and annoyingly absurd alliterations around here, alright, amateurs? This works. I'm not kidding. At some point in this movie we will get a flying elephant, and I'd still be more impressed by this game of jungle Jenga in real life than that.
All you gotta do is run out. Jump on a springboard.
This show is going on in front of an audience. Have they really not practiced this yet? This ringmaster really woke up the next day and said, "Elephants, stack yourselves while a baby elephant springboards to the top of the pyramid." And they knew what he wanted? The ringmaster said something about,
All 17 elephants have constructed an enormous pyramid.
but this is short, like 10 elephants. But then he proudly exclaims,
7 jungle giants.
is it possible that the movie forgot how many elephants there were? Or the script accidentally had a typo that was never fixed? Absolutely no one and no animal dies from this.
From now on, he is no longer an elephant.
I think it's possible that the matriarch elephants are the most disgusting villains in Disney history. Like worse than Lilo and Stitch even. This appears to be real fire for a company that just had full-size elephant projectiles knock down its entire big top. They don't appear to have learned any lessons. Who's insuring this death trap? I bet before, when you remembered Dumbo, you forgot about all the hardcore animal cruelty.
Someone to see ya.
How is Dumbo's trunk all the way through this window when just a few seconds ago he could barely reach it? I'm not crying about a non-existent baby elephant. You're crying about a non-existent baby elephant. This mother tiger clearly received 5 kids at the beginning of the movie, but now there are 3. And I'm beginning to think that with the 17 elephants thing earlier and this, the movie is saying the animals at this poorly run circus are experiencing tragedies left and right. Later in life, these 3 would escape back to Africa and then go on to assist in the murder of Simba's dad. Sure, it's ridiculously unlikely that this series of events will lead to a bottle of champagne being poured into a water bucket, which will lead to Dumbo and his mouse friend getting super drunk later. But it's way more unlikely that these drunk-ass clowns didn't finish that bottle, and that there's enough champagne to get a baby elephant drunk.
Here, take a trunk full.
Underage drinking. Also, as if we haven't learned already not to go to Disney for science, the movie just all of a sudden decides that elephants can drink through their trunks. Movie has time for this. This movie is 63 minutes long, people. 10 minutes of it were dedicated to storks and a train ride. They really didn't know what to do with this Dumbo story arc, did they? It's about to get weird, yo. Apparently, some of the drugs from the 60s took a road trip to the 40s just to write the next 5 minutes of this movie. Also, there are 16 minutes left in this movie. Dear God, make it stop. At least now we know where Ralph Breaks the Internet got the idea from. Also, that blue elephant in the center has no trunk. I mean, we all understand why, but still, that is a freaking trunkless elephant, and my nightmare fuel tank is completely full. What the? It's funny that this movie was made in part to recoup the financial losses of Fantasia, but then they stuck a whole Fantasia-like sequence into this movie anyway. Well, our long national nightmare is over. What's that? You say we enter World War II in a month? Well,
Dead is dead?
No. Dead people don't snow, or do they?
if you weren't already skeeved out by these jive-talking, racial stereotype-embracing black crows, just remember that the main crow is named Jim Crow and voiced by a white guy. So basically, he's doing an animated minstrel show. You know, for kids.
Couldn't jump up. It's too high.
Hey there, son! Maybe you all flew up!
Timothy Q. Mouse is talking under his breath here, about 50 feet down and 50 feet away from these guys. How on earth do they even know what he's saying?
But I'll be done seen about everything when I see an elephant fly.
Dumbo flying would have been a pretty awesome way to fill this story up with more dynamic storytelling, but this realization occurs with 8 minutes left in the film. Actually, let me take that back. The song about the possibility of Dumbo flying happens with 8 minutes left. The realization occurs with 4 minutes left. Well, I'm happy Dumbo figured out his special skill. Why couldn't he have just learned this when he was being mistreated by the clowns while being made to jump off a fiery building into a bunch of plaster? Instead, we had to go through a 5-minute psychedelic journey, followed by a bunch of crows singing a song to get to this point. These news stories run through 4 possible sequel ideas for this movie in under 30 seconds. I'd be happy that they burned them here instead of making them actual movies, except that if you think Disney won't do it anyway and we aren't getting Dumbo Goes to Hollywood in 2025, you haven't been paying attention.
The Axis is crawling like a slime all over Europe.
I can't believe it. Americans fighting Americans.
Yes, fellas, it was sounding great, but I could have used a little more cowbell.
That's my Barney! That tuba's my Barney!
What is it?
It's a gerbil. How did that get in your bag? Touche, pussycat!
Look at him. That's my brother, God damn it.
That wasn't flying. That was falling with style.